Peachy girl. Hey, Peach. Peaches. Well, I had to restart the stream because it was crashing somewhere along the line between here and YouTube. I checked my connection and I'm uploading at about 40 megabits per second, so I don't think there's a real problem at that end. So, what do you think, Peach? Peaches. Peaches. Hello, Peach. Yeah, she's feeling good. She had a bath last night. Not just a little cleanup, but a whole bath. So she's been in a good mood all day. Guess that means you get more baths instead of just cleanup, huh, cutie pie? A bath in a bathtub. She actually liked that. So, of course. Hi, Eleanor. Hi, Amy. Yeah, I don't know what went wrong with the stream before, but it was not working. It kept telling me that the audio wasn't playing, and then it kept kicking me out, so I just restarted it. Checked it at my end. I'm not having a problem here. Right, Peach? Peaches. 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 Put the head down. It's a peach. Yeah, it's a peaches. Hey, Peach. Hi, Christy. Someone forgot to plug in the iPad. It's probably more Sugar's fault. She hasn't been using it. She hasn't needed it in here because they got a TV in here now. But if I don't plug it in, it doesn't do much for helping me with these meetings when we have to be inside. And it's, what are they saying today? Let me double check, see if it's changed. Oh, it's dropped a little bit. The high today is only supposed to be 97. A cool 97 outside. Right, Pete? So they've already been outside. She's been outside for 2 terms, so she's been outside for 4 hours, haven't you, Peach? Peaches? I know. You want to see the people, but you can't. You can't see the people, not when we're doing YouTube. Nope. So she's been feeling better for, hey, Aaron. This little one's been feeling better for a couple of days. Her poop is still not normal, though, so I dropped her Medicam dosage down a little bit. I had it pretty high, and that seems to have improved her mood somewhat. Nothing seems to be helping with the other problem. Hey, Spirit Matter. Oh, yeah, well, the people who are with us on Workplace, and they get to talk to her, and she gets to actually see them. Don't you, Peach? Yeah. And YouTube isn't that kind of platform, so. Right, Peach? And then there's Babaloo over here. Babaloo? Yeah, she's been feeling good. She really liked her bath last night. Took up the whole bathtub, didn't you? Well, not quite. Snowball, he's snoozing. There's their TV setup now, so. And I'm going to get a mirror to put across the wall so that everybody can see the TV. Where are you hiding in there? Oh, she's at the watering trough in there. Aren't you, Kaz? Kaz is always happy. That's something Dan's been saying. He's always happy. Well, you should see the comments about mirrors. Like, oh, don't do a mirror. Just hook up a separate TV and have them pure. They don't need to do that in here. A mirror will work fine. They won't mind a reflected image. Right, guys? And that is the salamander. Salamander. And Sugar is in the cage all the way in the back. Lately, she wants to go outside early in the morning. We can't always do that. I mean, if it's going to be a hot day, we go out there, which it will be for about the next week at least. We go out early, but she knocks her food bowl off, so now I have to come up with another way to secure her food bowl, her dry food. She's been knocking that off in the morning, trying to get outside. And then there's Lucy. Loose. Hey, loose goose. She's the only other one that gets an electronic toy. Peaches and Lucy get electronic toys. They don't try to break them. And there's Pippa. Yep. Pippa is kind of like anybody who's read it. The book on Hannibal Lecter that's, isn't the prequel. It's the last book, but not the prequel. Yeah, she's basically his companion in the opera house at the end there. And I'm not going to give that away if you haven't read it. Watching the movie won't tell you anything. They don't have the same ending. And this is Romeo. Hi, Romeo. Did I mention Romeo? I did. And then behind me, controls are always in different places here. Where'd you go? Cecil. Cecil. What are you doing? Cecil bird. Peach, yes, I know you want to see your friends, but you can't, Peach. Oh, look, I hear you, Miss Weiner. Sugar's looking out the window. She see the aviary, and she'll cry because she wants to go out there. Yeah, well, you'd be about a cooked chicken after a half hour out in that heat. It's hot for me, and I grew up in the desert, so. Hey, Doris. I'm handicapped with reading messages again because someone forgot to plug in the iPad to charge it. So it was at 2% when I went to grab it. I thought it was plugged in, so. Didn't I, Peach? Hello? Hello, Peaches? Bob, he is now on 0.06 milliliters of Haldol. And I spray him down twice a day with a mister. And he's starting to look normal again. And I'm glad because I didn't want to get him too high on the Haldol. It seems to be working just fine. Bob, did you grab the paper in your cage? No, I don't want you grabbing the paper in your cage. Okay, that just makes a big mess. I saw a message. I can't read it now because I forgot to plug in the iPad. So somebody asked me a question, and I have no idea what it is. I don't think the iPad's even quite at 9%. Until it gets to 20, it's not going to let me do much with it. It'll keep shutting off every 2 minutes. Well, not shutting off, but shutting the screen down. So. Oh, yeah, to me, that's a whole controversy there. These birds have hemispheric sleep, so they actually sleep. Right now, Snowball's probably got half of his brain asleep. Oh, quiet. How much silence do they require at night? That's a good question. Well, I'll tell you, if you put them in an area where there's a lot of noise, they do tend to keep waking up and crying out. So I think it's a good idea to have them in a separate room where the lights are out so they can sleep, as long as you don't make that a habit. Never use that room as a punishment for them. They're making a lot of noise. You stick them in a dark room, not a good idea. But if you're just going to put them somewhere where it's not, where it's quiet and dark, that'll help. One thing too, though, if it's always quiet and they hear a noise, you might get a night fright going. So there's good and bad about having them in a quiet spot. Yeah, that is the common what's the word for it? Wisdom on the subject that they need 10 to 12 hours of sleep. I think that may vary by species, and I don't think we actually know that. But that's what you'll hear anyway, and most biologists will say that as well. But we don't actually know how much sleep they need because they go to sleep in the middle of the day. Snowball's got one side of his brain asleep right now. I'm pretty sure because of the way his eye is drooping. So we don't know. The current wisdom is 10 to 12 hours, but we don't actually know that. And I don't know if we'll ever know it. Kind of hard to know that about another species. One thing we do know, the amount of light that they get during the day has absolutely nothing to do with the mating cycle of birds that are born on the equator, okay? So salamander here comes from the Isle of Ceram. That's where they come from. They get 12 hours of light and 12 hours of darkness, okay? So if you're not counting twilight, right? Same with Romeo. He's an umbrella. They're from Indonesia. So with the exception of Babalu and Pippa, they don't have varying day and night. So to say that making sure they have 12 hours of sleep is going to stop from triggering them to have a mating cycle is unscientific and makes no sense. Okay, it might be true of Pippa and Babalu, which are from the island off the coast of Australia, but for the cerams and the umbrellas and the lesser sulfurs, it makes no sense at all. You only have to think about that for a couple of seconds to realize that that's just not true. But they may, it's hard to say about sleep. I mean, this is something they don't have answers for. So to say how much they need, it seems like when they feel sleepy, they go to sleep. Right now, we're looking at Roman doing that. He's shutting down one side of his brain to go to sleep. So, like I say, the current wisdom is that they need 10 to 12 hours of sleep, but we don't actually have that answer. So we'll stick with that until we come up with something that's more scientific, but we don't know. And there's a lot of things we don't know. In fact, one of the vets that we go to see was saying that they're having trouble getting people to sign up to become avian or exotic vets because we don't know enough. And so you're going to get a lot of animals in to care for that are a mystery, okay? They won't know how to fix them. So we have a lot of that problem now with some of the diseases, especially the bornoviruses that are running around affecting these birds. They actually don't have a solution for that. And then there are a lot of issues that for example, cloacal prolapses, we have an idea. Hi, Falcon Sue. We have ideas. We have educated ideas that a cloacal prolapse is primarily due to two things: lack of exercise and not enough liquid in their diet. And Dr. Jenkins, that's his best educated guess. But we don't know for sure. Baba Lou, will you quit grabbing the paper in your cage? You silly bird. Bob, cut it out. Hey. he takes his food from one day and it just ends up all over the bottom of the cage. I don't know what he eats. I guess he eats mostly his mash. What are you doing? What's that look for? Babaloo. Because I'm stopping you from grabbing the paper. Quit grabbing the paper. Babaloo. All right, I got it. I don't know how I'm going to get that paper out of his reach, but it's going to be a heck of a mess if he gets a hold of it and pulls it all over the place. Won't it? Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Kira. Yeah. Actually, those are building plans. They're the best thing for lining a cage, but they're just old architectural plans. Babaloo! You big monster. The way his cage is there, he's got it again. Peaches, hold on a sec. Bob, stop it. Leave that paper alone. It's just up high enough for him to reach. What long legs you have, Bob? Have you thought about being a model? He is pulling up the paper in his cage, and when he gets done, there will be a huge mess all around his cage. And now he's going to get it again. Stop it. You stop that. And I don't know how to flatten that out enough where he can't get a hold of it. I'm going to try. Bob, what a mess you made. It looks like a week of food in there, and it's just one day. He's still going to get it. There's no way I can stop him. Bob? Babaloo. It's especially difficult with Peaches on my lap because I need something to push that paper down. Would you stop it? Cut it out. Bob. Okay, let's think. How can I get him to stop? How about an alternative method with Peaches on my lap? This is not going to be easy. Peach. And I've got an unusable iPad in my way. Peaches, come here, baby. Stand up. Okay. And you're gonna lose a video feed for a short time. As I can't let him do what he's doing, so yes, Peaches, it does not make it easier for me that I'm holding you, but it's more pleasurable. Sorry for breaking the video feed, but I can't hold on to Peaches and the camera and do what I'm trying to do at the same time. Bob. There you go. Get the camera back right. Okay. Don't know if it'll work, but this is differential reinforcement of an alternative behavior. He wants to chew paper, so I gave him paper inside of his cage. Now he's playing with a toy. Yeah, there you go. So at least temporarily it's changed his focus. Yeah, it would. I love a bird making toy party. They used to have volunteers that would come over and help make toys before the pandemic. the botched pandemic. They did a better job in 1918 in the U.S. than they did this time. So, right, Bob? Bob, you gonna say hi to Susie Q? He says, no, I'm gonna play with a toy. Is that what you wanted me to do? Brent, put a piece of paper in your cage? Is that it? So now there's a principle. Differential reinforcement just means that you're going to reinforce one item over another. Okay, so they're doing one behavior and you want them to do something else. So you're gonna take that behavior and pair it with something else. So, and then an alternate in this case was giving him something that should fulfill the need for him to tear at paper. So, right. So what we've seen so far is that it has at least distracted him. And then later what I'll do is I'll get a stick and I'll pound that paper down where it's beyond his reach. And that's hard to do because he's got a heck of a reach, that boy. They've all got go-go gadget legs, you know, so. Oh, yes, that's part of it too, Eleanor. He likes messing with me. He does. And it's okay because I love that little monster. We're constantly playing games like that, but. Oh, Bob. What do you think, Peach? Now, I use DRI a lot more often around here, but, oh, Cheryl, you're welcome. I did manage to see that. I happened to be looking at the screen when it popped up. So, for example, today I went to get Snowball out of his cage and he wouldn't come out. He was like pretending he was going to bite me because that's about the last thing that's ever going to happen. But he was pretending. So I just picked up a toy from the bottom of his cage and put it up to his beak. So if he wanted to bite at something, it would be that. Then I peeled his feet off the cage and took him outside, and he was fine. He was fine. And another one I did today was salamander does not like to come out of the aviary. So he'll fight to do it. And usually the best way to get him out is to put Snowball in there because Snowball is the saram voyeur. He doesn't hurt the sarams, but he follows them around and it drives most of them crazy. So I put before I put him in there, I thought, well, I'll try something different with Sal. So what I did was I went to pick him up and he went to put his head down. I just wiggled my fingers in front of his eyes. Now that doesn't seem like much, but they can't wiggle their toes, okay? They only have muscles to open and close. They do have a grip and they have an opposable grip so they can pick things up, but they can't wiggle their toes. So that kind of mesmerized him a little bit and I picked him up and he came right out. So, and that was a differential reinforcement of an other behavior, basically. But I was putting up a behavior that he didn't understand. So I don't know if it'll work tomorrow. I'll probably figure it out. But putting that paper in there has stopped Bob, at least temporarily. Snowball is now there again. They sleep on and off all day. They do that in the wild too. They take naps in the middle of the day. So if you're going to count the naps that they take in the middle of the day and all the napping during the day, how much sleep do they actually get? No one knows. Cause knows. I bet you know Cause. Do you know? Cosy? Do you know? Hi, Cockatoo. Hi, Cockatoo. Hi, Peach. I'm going to show Peach the screen so she realizes there's nobody on it. There's nobody on the screen. Okay? She puts her head down. Like, what's wrong with this? Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I did 3 videos with him, Cheryl. What it was is I wanted people to know that there is a method that you can use to stop self-mutilation and, feather destructive behavior, feather picking. And so I didn't have any clue how to make videos. I was making, when I was a kid, one of my best friends and I used to make audio tapes. We had a reel-to-reel tape recorder, if anyone knows what those things are. And it had 4 tracks on it. The tapes had 4 tracks. So I put different kinds of music and sound effects on my cassette player. And then I would add that to, we would read science fiction stories and convert them into scripts. And then add sound effects after we'd done it. So that's the closest I came to doing this. So I knew I had a lot to learn. So I figured if I went through all the birds we had and did a video about each of them, started with the peachy one, just peachy one right here, this peachy one. By the time I got to the last bird, I'd be ready to ask Dr. Jenkins for an interview so that we could pass on this information about feather destructive behavior. And because right now I've got 10 birds on the medicine, and salamander would be missing chest feathers. Peaches she's not on it anymore, but she was missing chest feathers. She's one of the few that actually got off of it. That doesn't mean that she doesn't occasionally try to get to her feathers, though. I don't know. I think it was mostly short stories, Susie Q. We didn't actually do books. We just did short stories. I think we did one that I wrote too. It was about a couple of aliens that were sitting out, looking at this planet, and they were talking about, looking at Earth, talking about the people down there in the zoo, and the chatter goes on about, well, are we sure we want to do this? And the basic answer was, yeah. There's no purpose in saving this species anymore. So when they left, they said their work at the preserve was finished, and that was using the word "finished" in both ways. I think I wrote that when I was 13 or something. It was just called the preserve, and we put that one into an audio. So that's where I got my editing, whatever little editing ability I had. I think I did a couple of stop motion 8mm films with my parents' camera, but that was pretty minimal. Hi, Peach. You want to talk, Peaches? So one thing I did learn when I was doing the video with Dr. Jenkins is that you don't want to point a camera at a computer or at a TV, because what happens is you get color variations, and so I had 2 cameras set up on him, and I could only use the one. So I did learn some editing skills there to be able to shift the viewpoint a little bit and that kind of thing. But you really want to do that. But cockatoos, well, oh, thank you. I'm so glad Topper's doing better. That's the point of making the videos. Now we're hoping to get a little money in for us. But when I first started them, I didn't think about that. I was only thinking about trying to help birds. That's my primary focus. But yes, last move cost us quite a bit. I mean, a lot of our savings were just gone because we had to move out of there. I think I actually had that old story that I wrote too somewhere, but I think that got torn out in the process of moving out of that, what I call Hill House. Still working. Now he's playing with the paper I put in there. So differential reinforcement of another behavior. And what you want to do when you're doing that, you want to find something that's similar. In this case, it's the same thing, paper, but just put it into a place where you'll be okay with it. So if they're chewing on, thank you for that super chat, Amy. say they're chewing on drapes, well, that's material. So you want something, some kind of hanging material. So you could hang material off of a perch or something for them to chew on. Just give them an alternative to what you don't want them chewing on. But as far as birds and vocalizations, I can tell you, I was sitting outside in that old place one time, and someone walked up to the fence, which didn't happen all that often, and I heard this voice I'd never heard before go, "Hi, how are you? What you doing? What are you doing?" It was that clear, and it was Jasmine. Jasmine has an incredible human voice. It sounds almost exactly like a human talking. And Peaches talks, of course. Snowball says, "Snowball, Snowball." But Snowball can actually say it inhaling and exhaling, which is unusual. He can say, I can't do it now, my throat will do it. He says, "Snowball, Snowball," when he's inhaling, and then he says, "Snowball," when he's exhaling. And when I first met him, I only thought he made these really kind of guttural sounds saying his name, but actually that was only when he's inhaling. When he exhales, he sounds like a human voice. And Cause says, "Hi, cockatoo." And this guy he can say hello, but he does jungle sounds. It sounds like he's out in the middle of the jungle. Don't you? And Babaloo's a good talker. Babaloo? Babaloo says good morning to me in the morning, which actually means give me peanut butter, but he says good morning. He won't say it at any other time of day. He's learned context. You can only say that in the morning and get a reward for it. So he doesn't say it in the afternoon or in the evening. Sugar says hi. That's all. That's the only. I should say hi sometimes. It's kind of a breathy voice. Lucy says, "What do you say, Lucy? What do you say, Lucy? Pretty bird." She says, "I'm sleeping. Don't bug me." Pippa now says, Pippa actually has a phrase. "That's right. That's right. That's right." Pippa says, "That's right." Romeo says, "I love you," and love, 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 love. Don't you, Romeo? And hello, like Peaches says hello. Cecil can say hi, hello, and Cecil, but he rarely does. He's more interested in playing. Or torturing me. He likes to torture me. Don't you? Now you can see how the DRA is working. It's working just fine. He's chewing on that, messing with that, rather than messing with what I didn't want him to do. So it's a real disaster to have to clean if he knocks all that stuff behind his cage. So, I mean, you can do it. You have to disturb 4 birds to do it. You got to move Salamander out of the way first, and then you got to move Cause back, and then you have to slide this cage over where Snowball is, and they all don't like that scenario. So, but if it became a regular thing, I would have to probably just move the cages around a little bit permanently because with a bird that isn't so messy. That's a pretty song, Peaches. That's a pretty song. Yeah, I bet if your friends were here, they would toss coins at you for that. Yes, they're saying beep, 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 beep to the peach. A peachy song. Oh, that's that off Tushy in the other room. Peach, 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 peach. Peaches. Beautiful song, Peaches. Beautiful song. Beautiful song, baby. That's a pretty peach. The pretty Peach. Pretty Peach. We don't know how old she is. Yeah, she has a little arthritis in her spine along with her fused vertebrae, so she's an older bird, but we don't know. Someone said snowy. Carol said snowy. Snowy. Is that a snowy bird? Snowball. Snowball. Now that's Jasmine now. Yeah, I'd bring Jasmine in for these. The problem is she won't sit still. She'll end up climbing over the cages. And the problem with the bird loose on top of the cages is they could get their foot bitten. So, ah, beautiful song, Peaches. I know you want to see your friends, but you can't. You can't, love bug. You gonna do another verse, Peaches? You gonna do another verse? You got another verse in there, Peach? Peaches, peaches, the peaches, peaches. Yeah, I wish I thought to plug in the iPad, but I'm still not into a full rhythm here. Yes, Eleanor says she'll see you on that Amy and Eleanor will see you on Thursday on the workplace meeting. Yeah, and you can see your friends. She does know what friends mean too. She's learned the word friends. She knows what it means. Kind of like in Poltergeist. It's the TV people. Sort of. Only friendly. Yeah, Peach? Yeah, you're waiting for the spirits to speak. Are they friendly spirits? Yes, they're friendly spirits. Yeah, it's only 93 outside. It doesn't get terribly, well, it gets hot around 3. 3 is the worst here. I'll be out there at 2 cleaning the aviary, or 1. At 1:30 I'll be out cleaning the aviary. Yeah, what do you think? I know, Jasmine. I'm sorry. Jasmine's complaining she's not in here. Snowball, you gonna say anything, Snowball? Snowball, 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 Snowball. Well, the only one who wants to talk or sing is the Peach. Peachy girl. Peachy girl. Now, we just had someone contact us from the British Isles, and fortunately, they have a vet who will listen to them. They are going to see if they can do the Haldol thing, so they have a mutilator, so. Yeah, she's very bright-eyed today. Aren't you, Peach? Peaches? Are we a bright-eyed girl today? That video about feather destructive behaviors helps a lot of birds. So, One of them is a writer who writes fantasy fiction, and she had a couple of birds that were going downhill and starting self-mutilation, and she put them on Haldol, and that's all over. So the only negative about it, honestly, besides having to adjust it based on behavior, is that it's pretty much not a cure. It just needs to be given every day, like any other psychiatric drug. It doesn't generally cure something, but they all look good. Don't you, Peach? Peach looks good, don't you, baby? Mm. And Sugar is the one that transformed the most, but she was in the worst condition. Next to her, Jasmine was the worst. She was working on her chest. We have had others that we had one that we actually managed. It wasn't here. It was one of our foster parents who was taking care of the bird, but we hadn't got it. We got the bird in an emergency situation. Whoa! Sorry, Peach. Come here, baby. Sorry, baby. Come on up. Yeah, well, Peach, hold on a second. Dad's got his pillows moving around. Here we go. There we go. Sorry, folks. Peach took a little bit of a dive there. Are you okay? Dad was falling off his chair, so. Right, Peach? No comment? Did you have anything to say about that, Peaches? Let's get you back over on this side, because that's the side that's got the paper down in case you poop. There you go. Yeah. We both lost our balance on that one, didn't we, Peach? Hmm? Yeah, and since it's something that has to be given lifelong, that's kind of it means you're committed to twice a day no matter what. So you can't take a vacation unless you can teach someone how to give the medicine to your bird and be sure that they do it. Good example is Sugar. I'd put the pictures up on YouTube, but they'd probably take them down because they're pretty awful. When she didn't get when she spit the medicine out and I wasn't aware of it, so sometimes she does that. And the one time I tried to take her down to little by little to a lower level, that didn't work. That was an hour at Discovery Valley Animal Hospital with her. Well, all the broken feathers were removed from the follicles. It was a lot of work. But he's a good vet, and he took good care of her. So the feathers all came back in, and she's one of the most beautiful birds here now. But she's staring. Will you quit staring at that aviary, you silly girl? It's too hot to go out there. Sugar. Yeah, I see you over there, Sugar. I saw those feathers come down. Sugar. Mander. He just looks stoic right now. So at least Bob is getting better. I mean, it looks like he's on the right dosage now, and everybody gets sprayed down, but he gets a little extra spray down every day to keep the feathers supple. This guy's doing well. They're all maintaining their weights. Did their nails yesterday. I usually do one set of nails a day, but I wanted to get them down a little further for everybody. Right, Peach? This one, I have to put her in a soft collar to do her nails. She won't let me do her nails. She'll just keep pushing my hand away. If I put her in the soft collar, she's okay with it. She's like, okay, this will be over in a minute. Right, baby? Yeah, they've done really well on this big change. Having the TV in here helps now too. I don't actually play television shows. They watch movies. So they all prefer the aviary here to where it was before. It's obvious because when I would get out of the old aviary, the aviary at the other place, they would line up in order to come out. Like, we're coming out now. But here, when I go to take them out, they run away so that they can stay in. So, you laughing over there? Hmm? Ah, human raised birds generally are the only ones who get it, but there are exceptions. And I've had to point this one out. People don't think about it. What they're doing now in the wild to steal these birds is they cut the nesting trees down. So they're taking out birds that have not fledged yet. They're taking young birds and then they're selling them into the market. So they don't get to grow up with their normal the surrounding of the siblings and learning what to eat and how to live. They don't get to do that. So some of these wild caught birds will come down with the feather destructive behavior because they didn't they missed those same steps in their development. Now they may have been raised by their parents till they were young, but they're not fledged yet. So birds that have been taken from the wild by these people who chop the trees down, not only are they, obviously destroying the lives of those birds, but they're also reducing the number of nesting places. So, well, Michelle Peaches she's doing as best as can be expected. I guess she's had a couple of good days, but she still has blood in her droppings. So we're waiting to see if her body will fight it off. I mean, it's possible, but and she's been having a good day all day today. And yesterday she had a good day. So the medicine that we were getting, the rather expensive medicine we were giving her, didn't actually do anything. So I think the Medicam's doing as good a job as that did as far as getting rid of the pain and cutting some of the inflammation. We don't know how old Peaches is. No clue. She's not a young bird, though. She has arthritis, a little arthritis in her spine. There isn't much of an area for that to happen, but she has the two little areas that flex slightly have arthritis. But we don't know. That's common with these guys. They live so long, people don't know how old they are. And Peach just won't tell us how old she is. I don't know why that is. How old are you, Peach? Hmm? How old is the Peach? You're not going to say? See how you are. So surgery was an option to remove the growths in her preventriculus, but the doc said they just come right back if she's not fighting. So it might help for a week or two, but it wouldn't really be the solution. So He's not the kind of guy who's going to tell you absolutely no, but when asked about the surgery, he had something else to do and walked away. That tells you all you need to know. You know, she could recover from this, but it'll be her body that does it, unfortunately. Right, Peach? Would keep you happy, huh, Peach? So right now, the only thing she's on is Metacam. There's a lot of different names for that, but meloxicam, Metacam, Maloxidil. I mean, but it's an anti-inflammatory and a painkiller. So, how you doing in there, Peach? Yeah, from 30 years ago, Cheryl, you're pretty much dealing with wild-caught birds. Dr. Jenkins said that when they were catching adults, especially back in that time, they didn't figure out the chop the tree down thing until the last 5 or 10 years, I think. But he said that when they finally figured out how to breed these guys, which is basically steal the eggs from the parents and incubate them and keep them away from the parents. Do you want to raise a slave? Would you want to raise your child in a cage? I mean, the environment's just too small for them, I think, to make them feel comfortable about raising young. But when they figured that out and he started seeing these birds after about 5 or 6 years of breeding in captivity, he was seeing birds with feather destructive behavior and mutilation all the time, every day. He still sees at least one or two new ones every day. So that all started when we started breeding them in captivity. And the method was to take the eggs away from the parents and put them in an incubator. Be an interesting experiment. Of course, we can't do it. Try doing that with a human child and see how it works. You know, take the embryo, raise it in an incubator, and then let chimpanzees raise it and see how human it is. You know? It always makes me upset when I hear these breeders going, "Well, we're protecting the species." No, you're not, because if they don't have their culture, which is basically what they have, they aren't raised in a flock in the wild. They're not really what they're meant to be. So, not even close. My first teacher in applied behavior analysis called them functionally autistic. And I have people who are autistic, who deal with autistic children come back on me on that one. Well, it's not. No, excuse me. I'm saying functionally autistic. They act as if they are autistic because they're missing these important steps in their development. So it doesn't mean they're, genetically autistic. They are behaviorally autistic because they were raised the way they were raised. And it does, I mean, that's the techniques I use on them is what was developed for autism. So. And it works, doesn't it, Peach? Doesn't it, Peaches? Yeah, she just kissed my hand. Oh, Snowball. Snowball. Don't point the camera at you, Snowball. 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 Snowbird. And as you can see, my DRA is still working. He's playing with the alternative instead of going after what I didn't want him to do. So sometimes you have to make several changes to get where you want to go, right? Right, cockatoo. Hi, cockatoo. Hi, cockatoo. Hi, cockatoo. Hi, Cause. The happiest of all of us right there. That's the Cause. She's always a happy girl. Aren't you, Cause? Aren't you, girl? Aren't you? She's our little headbanger. She likes to bounce her head up and down. Don't you, baby? Hi, Cause. Hi, Cause. Hi, sweetie. Hi, Cause. Pretty girl. Pretty girl. Pretty girl. Pretty Cause. Where are you going? Where are you going, Cause? Hi, Cause. Pretty bird. Cause. She goes, I don't say pretty bird. I say, hi, cockatoo. Hi, cockatoo. Hi, cockatoo. She gets all excited when you talk to her, don't you, baby? Then when I first go in the aviary, she'll usually come right over and want to sit in my lap. Won't you, babe? Just have to be careful not to pet them too long, 2 or 3 minutes, and then break, and then do it again for 2 or 3 minutes, that kind of thing. You don't want to get them overstimulated. But Dr. Jenkins was mentioning it's almost a curse for them that they like to be petted. So, yeah, it is pretty bird to o'clock for some popcorn. She got popcorn yesterday, didn't you, baby? Did you get popcorn? Yeah. I finally found the popcorn maker. Well, actually, it's just a big pan that I use for it, but I found that in my boxes of stuff I have outside. And made some popcorn. Romeo? That's why I call him Roman. See how stoic he looks? He looks like a Roman statue. Don't you? Am I talking about Romeo? I'm not supposed to talk about Romeo. It's like talking about Fight Club. Well, guys, thanks for coming and spending time with us into Peaches. And we'll see you again on Wednesday. Won't we, Peach? Won't we, Peach? Huh? Be sure to bring questions with you. Is there anything you need to talk or discuss? But thanks. Oh, thanks, Cheryl. Can't see everybody on the list, but I want to say, thank you for coming. And Eleanor and Amy, thanks for your help. And thanks for stopping by, Michelle, and everybody else. Bye, Susie Q. We'll see you next time, right, Peach? Unless she goes, well, actually.